got home at around 6:45 p.m. I remembered that I needed to call the pharmacy to make sure they would have my ADHD medication ready the following morning because I would otherwise forget to call before 8 p.m. when they closed. I record all my calls for work, mostly just to refer back to conversations legal in my state to record privately. So I went back to see if her reaction was justified and to find out if I was really being rude. As soon as I walked in the door, she began complaining that I never eat with my sons and about the timing of my phone call. I said, "Sorry, it will only take a minute." The call with prompts took a total of 2 minutes and 33 seconds. She began screaming for me to just sit down and to not get my 2 toddlers milk until they ate more of their dinner. I told her I wasn't, and she continued telling me to sit down, and while I was trying to get myself a drink, she came over and closed the cabinet and explained again that she didn't want them to have milk until they had a chance to eat dinner first. We usually give them water with dinner first because they will barely eat and just chug milk if they have it at the start. As you can tell, my wife thinks I'm an idiot when I know not to do this. I simply told her I wasn't getting milk for them and explained I was just getting myself a drink to have with my dinner. I have an extremely difficult time focusing and listening to multiple people, especially when someone tries talking to me while I'm on the phone with another person. I had to ask the pharmacist at a minimum to repeat herself 3 times during the entire exchange because I kept having to break my focus. But what really sealed the deal was when I told the pharmacist, "Sorry, but my wife interrupted. Could you repeat yourself?" She immediately burst out, "Well, that was fricking rude," immediately began tearing up and went into the bathroom. This was all done in front of my 2- and 4-year-old who now think I was being mean to mommy. She claims I knew what I was doing when I said my wife interrupted, said it was deliberately to be passive-aggressive or demeaning. This is not something I typically ever do. I listened to the call, I didn't have a tone, I didn't sound mad, I didn't say it in a way that was demeaning or accusatory. I had her listen to the call and she still couldn't admit that it was normal conversation and continued to try to convince me that anyone would find it rude and that it still hurts her feelings even after I told her I didn't mean it in a rude way. She gaslights and makes claims like all her friends that she talked to about it agree with her 100%. I think she was embarrassed, still is, and overreacted, but I have to be the one who has to be overly and majorly apologetic. I don't understand how she could still expect me to be genuinely sorry after hearing that I never meant it as rude. Her misunderstanding, and I have to be so apologetic just because her feelings got hurt. 3 days ago. It's like she's so embarrassed or so mad can't be logical or reasonable without the major takeaway and only thing remembered that I'm the idiot like she always does. I have literally been gaslit and been given silent treatment, sleeping on the couch when she should be apologizing for her reaction and treatment of me. Everything I say and do gets so blown out of proportion. We're constantly having to go over my flaws and how I need to change and fix things. My wife will compliment herself the entire time while belittling me in these conversations. I never do this to making comparisons between us with her being the good or virtuous one. It feels like we're constantly focusing on what she dislikes about who I am or what I do, until it feels like my identity is nothing other than what she complains about. Also, 90% of these conversations and comments are said in front of our 2 toddler sons who have to hear me apologize or defend myself. I work all day, come home, spend all my free time with my family. But she makes me constantly feel like everything I do is wrong and that I am beneath her. Even writing this makes me exhausted. Sorry, am I the idiot for my comment to the pharmacist? Am I the idiot for not understanding why I needed to apologize after explaining to her she misunderstood my comment, which I felt was normal conversation and has no reason to be upset? Her position now is that my comment still deeply offends and makes her sad. Regardless of me reassuring her, I didn't mean anything by it and didn't intend for it to hurt her feelings. She feels even if she is being irrational that she has a right to be offended, and I should be nothing but concerned and sorry for her feeling that way. I feel like I would be sorry for misunderstanding, reacting like she did, and causing such an issue in our relationship over something so small that I misinterpreted for malicious. I would understand if I had said something worse and it got taken out of context, but me telling someone that my wife interrupted me so they would repeat themselves seems like a stretch. Help! Am I just a complete idiot? Or just a complete idiot? Is she just continuing to say she is offended to get the satisfaction of making me apologize and be the bad guy again? Edit. Being sorry that she misunderstood and for her feelings getting hurt is not good enough. I need to be genuinely sorry for my actions in order for her to be satisfied. Now, for the next story. My husband told me a couple of months ago that he really wanted to start journaling to write down memories of our kids, 3-year-old and 2-year-old, and give it to them one day. Thinking this would make a nice Father's Day gift, I spent a long time sourcing out nice journals and had custom engravings done on the front. Dear, name of child, letters to my son. It took weeks to come, and when it did arrive, I was very excited. Told my husband that his Father's Day gift arrived, and he wanted to open it. I told him that if he did, then he wouldn't have anything to open on Father's Day. But he was excited too, so he opened it, said it was great. But then I noticed he shoved it to the back of the cupboard, out of sight, and never used it. This was a couple of weeks back. I thought it'd be a shame to not have any gifts on Father's Day itself, so I took our oldest son to a pottery craft studio for him to choose and paint something for his dad. He just came back a couple of days ago from a week-long international holiday, all expense paid for by his company. An incentive trip, all play, no work. His work trip ended after 4 days, but he chose to extend to visit his sick aunt. But then the aunt came to visit and isn't in that country anymore. While he was holidaying, I was working and taking care of both my kids without any help. It was rough because our kids still don't sleep through the night. Needless to say, I'm exhausted. He asked me what the plans were for Sunday, and I said, "What do you mean?" And he replied, "Father's Day." I said, "I didn't plan anything. I mean, I got you a gift. I like writing, but I don't like writing. I like to type." "Well, so what do you want then?" He kinda said, "Oh, nothing." We were at dinner, and I questioned him, "What do you want? Do you want to sleep in or something? You've literally come back from a holiday." It gets tense, and he says he doesn't want to talk about it. I still questioned, "Why? Why don't you just tell me what you were expecting?" He got up without a word and paid the bill. It was tense, and he was angry. When we got back to the car, he was ignoring me. I say, "I don't understand why you're mad at me. I've done nothing wrong." He says I'm trying to pick a fight with him, that there's no point in talking. I say, but the point of what I'm trying to say is that I'm hurt, that I spent a lot of time and effort trying to find a Father's Day gift that I thought was meaningful and you'd like. And he shouts that he doesn't like it at all. At this point, I left the car. We are not talking. Am I the idiot for not making plans for Father's Day? Edit to add, we've never made big plans for Father's Day or Mother's Day before. We don't have help, so we don't get a chance to go out together often, mainly on our anniversary. So in the past, we've only gotten small gifts for each other and maybe a sleep-in. Edit. Thank you for the responses. I need to clarify with the aunt thing. His aunt has cancer, so he booked to extend the trip to visit her. But she's terminal now, so she recently came to visit us and his family. She's living with her family in our country and no longer in the holiday destination. He stayed the extra days because the tickets were non-refundable. I did not elaborate because it's not an issue. I just wanted to highlight that he's had a kid-free week, and I didn't make a fuss that he had an extra 3 days to himself that he didn't have to since he's already seen the aunt. He's definitely not cheating. Comment 1. Wow, the detail that what husband got up last Mother's Day was some flowers and a bagel is really eye-opening. It genuinely sounds like the first time husband communicated expectations was the night before, seconds before getting angry that his expectations weren't already met. No. Oh, I'd like to go out for brunch, actually. No, let's start doing more for Father's Day this year. Literally, step 1 is, what are you doing for me? Nothing? Wow. I have to go with a solid, not the idiot on op here, and a huge, you're the idiot for husband. Grow up and use your words. Comment 2. Father's Day in my family was a crappily made breakfast by the kids and a stupid gift he most likely would never use. Though I was touched to find out later in my life that my dad liked one of my art project Father's Day gifts so much he took it to his workplace and displayed it for decades. Literally broke down crying when I found that out. It had disappeared shortly after I gave it to him, and I thought it was thrown away. Comment 3. Know what I got for Father's Day? A card from each kid, a bottle of craft beer, and to watch the kids all day by myself because my wife had to work. Being a dad isn't about getting a big celebration or gifts, and if that's all Father's Day means to him, then he's a big fucking whiner who is missing the point, not the idiot. Now, for the next story. My husband and I are 2 weeks from my due date. It was unplanned, but we are definitely excited. We are both 30 years old and never thought kids were in the cards for us. For the past 5 years, his best friend has been dating a girl named Christina. She has 2 children from her previous marriage, but Joe is child-free. For the past 2 years, every time we have hung out with them, Christina has been saying she wants a baby. It was constantly brought up, and she would get very upset at times because of how badly she wanted a baby. Joe also wanted a baby, but thought he was infertile because it just never happened, despite never using protection. Joe actually booked himself an appointment to get checked. They found out 8 weeks ago that they were expecting, a week before his scheduled appointment to check fertility. He was over the moon, so was she, originally. Now, my husband and I were also extremely excited about this because my husband and Joe have been best friends since kindergarten, and we thought that our babies would be the best of friends as well. Well, about a week ago, Joe gets a hold of me, begging me to talk Christina down from the cliff. She was telling him that if he didn't buy her a house, then she was getting an abortion. She started using the baby against him fiercely. He's not in a position to buy another house right this very second. He sent me screenshots of their conversations, and they were bad. She was seriously just losing her poop on him for stuff outside of his control and threatening to end the baby's life over mundane things. For example, well, if you don't do this, then the baby is dead, or you're going to be the reason why this baby doesn't make it because you stress me TF out. All because they were arguing about him picking up an extra shift that weekend. So I texted her, and I didn't tell her that Joe had asked me to. I simply tried talking to her about what she was going through mentally. She seemed to calm down, but she went and got an abortion 2 days later, and when Joe asked her why she would do that, she said, "You should have listened to me and did what I asked." I lost every ounce of respect I had for her. I am pro-choice, but this is fricked up. I no longer want anything to do with this woman. My husband, while he agrees that she is ignorant, says that we should just stay out of it because it's not our business. And that's true, but I never want to see her again, which would heavily limit how much I interact with Joe because I doubt he will leave her, though I think he should. Am I the idiot? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Using a pregnancy as financial blackmail is simply horrible. Can't imagine Joe stays with her, so not speaking to her going forward should be rather simple for you. It does need to be said, failing to plan and agree financially for a baby is also horrible. This had clearly never actually happened. If she's worried about housing, this didn't just come out of nowhere. And one does need to wonder what the hell they were thinking trying for a baby with none of this established. And Joe was a part of this second should have happened first thing. Comment 2. Not the idiot. I wouldn't want to be around someone who thinks it's okay to leverage someone's actions with their unborn child, let alone use abortion as leverage. That's really sad for her boyfriend. Hopefully he's able to get the help he needs to leave that girl and remain friends with the two of you. And also get the help he's going to need from the trauma that will result, which is not his fault. Comment 3. Not the idiot. This isn't about an abortion or pro-choice. This woman is unhinged, and Joe needs to run. Was she even pregnant? Was she lying and trying to get Joe to do things by threatening a fake pregnancy and abortion? I would never, ever be around a person like this again. She sounds like she would do anything to get her way. Keep her out of your lives completely. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day!